So time to get our waifu on. It's just a fun one. Um, so I saw this on Facebook and I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about it. And it's just these four, no Android 21 or whoever else. Just the originals. I guess you could add launch on here if you want, but no one ever remembers launch. But it says gun to your head, pick one. I don't think we need a gun to our head to pick one of these lovely ladies. But I mean, obviously each girl has their own set of skills, you could say. It's something they bring to the table. But just a little brief, you know, for them. So we got Chi Chi, 35 years old. It says widow, but considering it was back then, yeah, technically she was. She was a widow because Goku was dead for what, 7 years. So she was a widow. Two kids, Gohan and Goten. Catches attitude often, cooks and cleans. So Chi Chi of the four is more of a traditional wife. She stays home, she cooks, she cleans, she takes care of the kids. While her man is out, she makes sure that he has a nice home cooked meal to come home to. The laundry gets done, the house gets cleaned. Traditional wife. And she's loyal. Despite the fact that despite all the fact that all the shit that Goku does, she still hasn't left his ass. She's loyal. And you can see every time they're together, the way she looks at him, she's in love with him. So if you're with her, she's loyal. She's not going to be looking for anyone else, no matter how hard times get. She's not going to be looking for anyone else or anything else. She's going to want you. So you have that going for you. So she's very loyal. If you're looking for a traditional wife, I think Chi Chi would be best bet. Then we have Bulma, 40 years old, two kids, one baby daddy, the Prince of Saiyans. So coming with a lot of baggage. Baby daddy stalks her from time to time. Pays for everything, being the richest woman in the world and everything. Gets loud with you in public because she has an attitude and she's not afraid to use it. So the great thing with Bulma is, as long as she likes you, you could pretty much be a deadbeat if you wanted. She has more than enough money to pay for everything you need, or what you both need. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She lives in a nice house. I mean, runs Capsule Corp. Lots of money, lots of space. Because she's so rich and powerful, she can get a lot of free time to herself. So you could expect a lot of traveling and a lot of vacations and a lot of very exclusive sort of places with a very limited clientele and like VIP type stuff. The clientele is very limited. Her getting into pretty much anywhere she wants, just because of who she is, who her dad is. But she also has an attitude. Probably more so than Chi Chi, because while Chi Chi is traditional, stay-at-home wife, Bulma is very much the go-getter, the proud, independent woman. And she likes getting her way. Now, Chi Chi likes her children getting what they need. Most of the time, she doesn't even care about herself. Her children come first. Bulma puts herself. I mean, she's wanted to wish for a boyfriend. She's wanted to wish to have a bigger ass. So when it comes to Bulma, she's very selfish, despite having children. But she has a lot of money, so financially, you'd be set for the rest of your life. I mean, even if something was to happen to her, she would have it ensured that you never have to worry about anything the rest of your life, even if she was gone. So financially, great. 18. 30 years old, one kid, one baby daddy, freak. Sure she is. Likes to fight and will take on all your battles, loves money. Well, while she loves money, she loves her husband more. I mean, there's like one part in like Dragon Ball Super where I think she just finishes like shaving Krillin's head, and he's like, "I'll see you later, babe," and she's just like, "He's so cool." So she's incredibly loyal, stunning, absolutely gorgeous, uh, infinite stamina. That's why she's a freak. Infinite stamina, guys. Infinite stamina. Um, will be more than happy to fight your battles, no matter how you protest and claim that you can do it yourself. She will fight your battles for you. Of course, it'll be humiliating having your wife fight your battles, but being able to stand back and watch her kick someone's ass with just mmm. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna put my alpha pride aside and just enjoy the image of my gorgeous wife beating the ever loving shit out of someone. Um, knowing that even if she does, they're not gonna say anything because it's like, oh well, you had to have your wife fight your battles. Well, my wife's the one who kicked your ass. My wife's the one who broke every one of your ribs, so you won't be saying anything to anyone. Um, but again, she's a great mother, loves money, but not to the extent of, say, being selfish like Bulma would be. Um, even if she was to get money, she would still spend it on things for her family. You know, even if it was like a bigger house, or even she goes down the route her brother wanted to go down, and get like go on a vacation. She wants to buy a boat or something for her family. It's still going to be for her family. Um, but she has an attitude as well. Obviously, I think that's something they all have in common. But we see how stress-free Krillin is, as opposed to, say, Bulma, Goku, or Vegeta, who were constantly stressing about their wives. So 18 is definitely the more chill of the group. She's probably the most not understanding, but the most relaxed out of all of them. I mean, again, look at how relaxed Krillin is all the time, and how Goku and Vegeta. It's night and day. They're like, "Ooh," and Krillin's like, "Oh, yep, I'm good." Oh, must be nice to have a wife you don't have to worry about, huh? Who doesn't yell at you all the time? Um, so for someone who likes just a mix between traditional and kind of like a mix between Bulma, because honestly, that's what she is. She's a mix between Bulma and Chi-Chi. She's very traditional, but also very, very strong and independent. Um, and she'll do things for you like a traditional wife would, but she will complain at you with certain things, like Bulma, and she maybe selfish. I think if she has money to pay for her family, she might use a little for herself, as opposed to Bulma, who has so much money that everything's already taken care of, and it's just like, oh, I want this, to the point where she has to turn to the Dragon Balls to, like, oh, I want a boyfriend, I want a bigger ass, I want this, I want. Um, so I think it takes the best of both Bulma and Chi-Chi and combines it into one. And then we have Marin. Well, you remember Marin. Had a little fling with Krillin for a little while. And, I mean, she's a sweet person, but she's pretty shallow. Pretty shallow. So we've got Marin, 25 years old, no kids, only dates guys who are ripped and rich, fun personality, alcoholic. And the fact is, she's basically the kind of woman nowadays, like, oh, well, I won't date a man unless he makes, more than six figures a year. He has to be like over 6 feet tall. And that's it. All those women online that you see that you hate, that's Marin. She may have a fun personality and be spontaneous, but she's a lot. She may not have a kid, but everything else about her is more than enough baggage to make a man like, I mean, she's hot. She's hot. She's got a great body, but do I like? Is it like a pump and dump situation? Do I with her for a little while and then make up some excuse? I mean, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Um, but she's exactly the kind of like if you had to personify the women nowadays that you see online with the whole they need to make this, that would be Marin. That would be Marin. Um, except Marin is attractive. The girls who are like, oh, well, they need to be 6 feet tall and six figures. They're always like mid at best. And that's mid with makeup on. Um, so at least Marin has looks going for her. But apart from that, she's not very bright at all. And she's just very shallow. Well, again, she is kind. It's usually when she's one of those where it's like as long as you're able to provide for her, she's the sweetest person ever. The minute you're not able, it's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just find someone else then. And you're like, no, 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 no. I'll do it. No, 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 I'll do it. It's one of those. So I guess it's more of it's she can be genuinely kind, but also like a forced, like, oh, well, as long as you give me what I want, I'll be nice to you. So it's kind of a wild card, really. So because you could have lots of money and be ripped, but then she sees someone with more money and who's more ripped, and she'll be like, oh, thanks for the fun, bye. I mean, then is it really worth it? So Marin, I think, just as safe. She'd be cool to hang out with. Um, if that's what you kind of like, so like I said, like a pump and dump kind of thing for people who like doing that. Cool to hang out with, go out, have a good time, whether, sex happens or not. She's still a cool person. But nothing more, like no serious relationship. She'd be the one calling you up late at night saying, oh, hey, I need some company, So that's the kind of person that she would be. But I think for me, I would have to go with 18. And again, she takes like the best qualities of Chi-Chi and Bulma. And I like quiet. I like quiet. Chi-Chi would be constantly yelling about something, and Bulma would be constantly yelling. Again, look at Goku and Vegeta. How they feel, when their wives show up. Instead of like, oh, hey, oh, there's my loving wife. They're like, oh, God, they've showed up. What do we... With 18, it's just, you're relaxed. Look at Krillin. The dude has nothing to worry about. She's calm. I mean, I don't know how much of that is her personality or how much of it has to do with her being an android and maybe some kind of programming. But, obviously she's still human. She's an android. More like, I think it's more technically a cyborg. But she was a human. Dr. Gero worked on her and her brother. And, making them more, cybernetic. So her personality, I don't know if there's any. Although, considering how she was when she first emerged and woke up, she had this desire to kill. But then after Krillin wished her, back and all that, it's not like her programming said, oh, hey, you need to like this guy. No, she genuinely shifted to liking him because he did something nice. So either way, it's quiet with her. Again, traditional wife while still being very independent on her own. and still having her own demands and needs. The infinite stamina. Um, Again, watching her beat the ever-loving crap out of someone, because, like I said, that the person whose ribs she broke, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to say anything because it's like, well, yeah, he had his wife fight his battle for him, but she broke your ribs. So this isn't the victory you think it is. Um, but for me, it's not about the money. It's who I could connect with, and I think 18 would be the better of the other two. I mean, Bone was cool, and having to not worry about anything because we have more than enough money to last us several lifetimes would be cool. But she does get stressed too easily. She gets mad too easily, and it's the same thing with Chi-Chi. She's loyal. Um, she hasn't loved Goku yet. Obviously, well, one because they're fictional, but if it was like a real life setting, uh, it. Yeah, I don't think I could. Again, I like quiet. I like quiet. I'm not a loud person. A lot of time I'm just kind of sitting here chilling. Just when I come home from work, I just like being here by myself, just putting on my music and just quiet. Um, so Bulma and Chi-Chi, as cool as they are, as loving and loyal and all that as they are, I prefer quiet. And I think 18 would definitely would give me that. We'd have a lot of good times, have a lot of fun. Um, so yeah. So 18, 18. Um, Also, it's for those people who care about appearances. Having a trophy wife. 18 is definitely what you would consider a trophy wife because she's an android. She ages much, much, much slower. So while Chi-Chi and Bulma get up there in age, their 50s and 60s, and they look their age, Android 18 doesn't because she's an android. So she ages a lot slower and she stays like this much, much longer. It's like with Vegeta and Goku or Saiyans in general, how they get up to their 50s and 60s and whatever, and they still look the same. Well, you're going to have a wife that's going to look like this for a very, very long time. We see in GT, she's kind of showing signs. I think they have drew her with maybe lines on the side of her face, and she had a different haircut. But other than that, she looks the same. Actually, hang on. So, example here. It's hard to tell exactly how old they are. Apparently, she's 43. She's in her 40s. Um, and as you can see, she still looks exactly the same. No signs of aging. So if you're a shallow person and you like a trophy wife, Android 18 would definitely be that way. I mean, Bulma could go that route with all the technology she has, and the Dragon Balls, but I would. She doesn't. 18 doesn't naturally do it because of the whole android thing. It's because she's an android that helps her stay younger. Um, but it's just a natural thing now because she's been an android for a while Bulma would have to use external means, like I said, for technology or Dragon Balls or something, to kind of keep herself young. But yeah, this is her at 40 something years old. So, for those people who like that trophy wife, honestly, I think she's got a bit of everything. So, for me, like I said, 18's the way to go. But anyway, our weeb moment is done. We can stop gooning over these beautiful, lovely, independent women, and yeah. But yeah, 18, totally 18, totally 18. Marin, you're nice. Too much baggage, even without having a kid. You're just too shallow. You're just too shallow. I like things nice and quiet. Bulma and Chi-Chi, Sorry, you guys are lovely. You guys are great moms, but you're just too loud. You're just too loud. So 18, just call me a Pokemon trainer because 18, I choose you. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.